Thank you guys for coming to my channel. I just have the hugest forehead right now and I don't even know why. See, what is this channel going to be about? Well, I thought that this should be like a med school journey. Just kind of detailing and documenting my experience through online pre-med. Like, so this is like the 415th, 100,000th time I created this video. Oh my god, my hair is a mess. There, this is how you guys are gonna have to watch me for right now. I'm sorry for the background music. I really don't mean for it to be background music, but I'm setting right now and I thought, well, hey, it's too hard to cut the music off. Especially, this is like a live channel and my mouse isn't really working to turn off the thing. Here we go. Okay, I'm here, remember? Oh, shoot. Okay, so I am here, and I realized that it's coronavirus. Okay, let me actually back up. See, my humongoid forehead is terrible. So we're just gonna highlight it. Anyway, so I was gonna make this video a couple of weeks ago, but things have definitely changed. Like, Tyler, you cannot be a cheapskate all the time. Cheapskates don't get cheaps. No, I should change that. Cheapskates don't get skates. So I was really trying to be cheap. And it really wasn't my fault because I couldn't afford a lot because of furlough. And because, you know, things happen. So I just really couldn't afford it. So I had to be a cheapskate and not have the skate. So how it all went down, I was taking classes through study.com from April to June something, right? So I finished inorganic 1 and I finished inorganic dose, and between that time I applied to St. George medical school. I really wasn't trying to join any other medical school. The reason why, because at that time, and this is not just a get out of jail free card, but I'm going to utilize, you know, everything that has happened to me to my advantage. Especially during coronavirus. You win some, you lose some. And for this case, this was a major win for me. Several of the Caribbean universities at this time, like March to June, they have talked to the Department of Education, and they actually allowed for people who were unable to take the MCAT because of test dates, cancellation, everything like that, and financial reasons. They didn't have to take the MCAT this year. I'm not too sure about regular American med students, but as far as the Caribbean goes, that was the case. Now, I don't know if it's because St. George is a lot more well known than the other Caribbean med students, med schools, but in this case, how it worked was that I applied and they already secured, by the time I was getting ready, at that time when I applied, they already stated that the January class of, so January 2021, which will be graduating at the same time as next August, just so that way you know. January 2021, they no longer had to take the MCAT, and it was approved by Department of Education, blah, 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 blah. So I don't want people to look at this video and think, okay, well, you know, here's another Caribbean med student or pre-med student who's going to go to an I don't want to say authorized because it's not the word, unaccredited institution. Because previously to this time, there was like a lot of other foreign medical schools. Oh, should I put it right here? You guys can see me. So there was a bunch of other foreign medical schools that, you know, toted like, oh, you don't have to take the MCAT, blah, 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 but they really wasn't accredited. And for any of the people who are like wondering like how you can really tell, especially in this time, if something's accredited, if they take FAFSA, American United States Financial Aid, then it's obviously accredited. So that's the easiest way to check their tuition. If they say Sallie Mae loans, don't do it. I mean, you can do it. It'll probably be good, but they're not as accredited as some of the other big 5 or 6 at this point. I don't really know. So at this point, I was really only concerned with going to St. George's University just because they had the big class size, which I didn't really get that in undergrad. I went to a medium-sized college, which was technically really small. Then I transferred to a nursing program, and that was small. really small, like 4 people in my class, which I did not go through with that. I didn't go through with that. Imagine if I was really serious. Like, imagine if I was serious vlogging like this. Let me just get all this together. Okay. So at this time St. George was the only school. So I applied, and it was a little bit of a process, and I think I should go into it in a different video, really, because that could be like a 30-minute conversation, just between you and me. So yeah, I went through the application process, and for the most part, it just seemed like dead end after dead end after dead end, and it's no fault of St. George University. You know, I understand it that the admission counselors or enrollment counselors, their job is to get students in, right? So if I don't have a high chance of getting in, whatever time I try, then they're there to kind of guide me to make sure or give me the best opportunity to get in. So I was going through that. I got back that those 2 classes that I took from study.com were no longer accepted. I mean, they weren't accepted at all. People are like, oh, study.com, but it's ACE accredited. So any ACE accredited place is not accepted typically through the Caribbean med schools, especially the ones that are, the FAFSA ones, which I think they're about 6, a little bit more than 6. There's 7 FAFSA. I did that, and at this time, while I was talking to St. George, a little bee got in my head, and I was like, okay, maybe I should just try to like see how it would be for, I don't know, AUC, American University of Caribbean, because I met a couple of people there, and every time I like go to the doctor and I see where like doctors, their medical school education from, I see a lot of Caribbean medical students from well-known, places. Talking a little bit to AUC, because when I first got on the phone, they said, okay, we'll take these transcripts. Kind of find out they didn't. But with AUC, they stated that I wouldn't need to really do much. Like, I only had a couple more classes, where St. George had just 1 more extra class, which I'm already signed up for, so it's no big deal. I'm doing them, whatever. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm in Organic Chemistry 1. Because I thought that the other classes would transfer, but they didn't. So that's where I am. So all that to say is that, and I guess this would be saying in medical school too, if you're trying to be like a cheapskate, then you won't get your skates, okay? You just won't get them.